How's it going, guys? Dynamite here, coming to you as always from the Digital Warfare 24/7 forums, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys a pretty beastly gameplay from my buddy ToffeeMan. He is going to be a Englander, a British man, a ToffeeMan, if you will. My good buddy Nick, aka ToffeeMan, is going to be playing with the M8A1 here on Grid. This is a game of domination on ground war, actually, that he joined in progress, and we are going to see him going ham on these kids. Now, a lot of times you might join a game in progress or even just get matched normally in a game where you realize, you know, I am up against a really, really easy lobby. And this is not often going to be the case, but it is the case in this situation because Nick is up against two teams. Well, he's playing with one team, obviously, but he's up against a team that is going to be tack sniping. They're going to be taking the game very non-seriously. They're going to be playing just for clips and for snipes and for the lulls in general. And so what I decided to do for this gameplay is talk a little bit about how you can best take advantage of a lobby like this where you already have a lead joining a game. I mean, you have people that have taken objectives for your team, and the other team really isn't trying to contest objective at all. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that. So maybe not quite the most serious analysis as far as how to hone your skills in a really competitive match, but hopefully we'll be able to learn a thing or two from Nick's play here. Now, real quick, I would like to address something personal that's happened in my life recently, and that is that my parents actually seem like they're going to be divorcing in the near future, which is very sad to me and is something that I found out very suddenly yesterday. So if I seem like I'm not quite as on point with my commentary, it is because I'm very distracted right now and I haven't had a whole lot of time to prepare or find gameplay. So I did, however, just log on this evening to see if I could find a good gameplay, and what do you know, there's a gameplay from ToffeeMan. It says 70 plus 3 VTOLs, and I'm like, I think I can work with this. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about what Nick is doing. Right here, he's hanging out on a flank, which is the opposite side of where a lot of his teammates are. If you isolate yourself, you're much less likely to be detected, and you will be able to go unnoticed. Now, as he was hanging out on that corner, and as he's moving up into their spawn here, you saw that he was shifting position a lot. And so he's camping in a way, but it's tactically camping, so to speak. He keeps shifting his position so that he's going to encounter people at a different juncture every single time. Right there, he just ends up cleaning up a couple of snipers that are trying to push their way in, and now he's earned his VSAT. He can go ham on these guys. They're not really paying attention, and he is going to be able to pretty much just run through them. So now you'll see that he has his first VTOL warship unlocked here, and he is going to be able to drop back after he gets a couple more kills here. You'll see he's on the Ruthless. Will he be able to pick up the nuclear? We will just have to wait and see. Now he's going to very smartly position himself back in his own spawn, and let's fast forward through this VSAT here. Now, while I'm fast forwarding, one thing that I want to say that really interests me about how he uses the VTOL is he does an extremely good job of covering people that might be coming to his spawn area. He actually protects himself so that he can continue this really high streak, and that's something that you really have to keep in mind. Thinking about that, it is kind of interesting that he's running the Hellstorm there instead of the Lightning Strike. The Hellstorm is going to keep you a lot more vulnerable, so maybe when Nick sees this, he can address why he's running that Hellstorm instead of the Lightning Strike, if only because it's a slightly lower score requirement than the Lightning Strike. So once again, we're going to see Nick working this right side of the map here, and I do feel like that on Grid, this is really the only side that you can flank effectively. The other side is locked down extremely hard with head glitches, and when you're playing a bunch of snipers like this, chances are they're going to be posted up over there. At halftime, we're going to see that Nick is posting up an impressive 36-1. Now, let's talk a little bit about the weapons he is using the M8A1, and that is going to be something that's going to allow him to sit a little bit further back and have extremely fast kill times when people end up rushing him. For his secondary, he is using the B-23R pistol, which is going to be an extremely powerful backup and is going to allow him to protect himself while he is moving into positions where he can overlook their spawn, which is, of course, the way that he is going to be getting the most kills. He is going to count on the fact that the enemy team is not going to be pushing to switch spawns or go for objectives very much, and that is going to allow him to just hover around the outside of their spawn and pick people off pretty much at will. There you see he goes in because he needs to get a couple more kills for his VSAT, So now that he's able to do that, he can avoid those long lines of sight in the middle where the enemy team is tack sniping and is just going to take his face off if he tries poking out there. What he needs to do is he needs to flank on the sides where he's not going to run into those head glitchers set up with sniper rifles, and where his teammates aren't going to be, so he doesn't attract attention to himself. Now he is going to be pushing all the way back here into their A spawn, and he manages to pick up a guy there. He's very close to getting this next VTOL, so it looks like he's actually going to go to B-Dom and try to pick up a capture to secure this last VSAT. It's good to see that Nick, even though he is much more of what I would call a power slayer, he still has a desire to play the objective and contribute to his team. There you'll see he is on the Relentless. Talking a little bit more about Nick's role, he's always someone that he just really puts the foot down, man. He really puts the foot down the throat of people that we play against when we start winning. He's the one, you know how in baseball there are pitchers that are just like general pitchers as we fast forward through another VTOL here, and then you have the closer. And ToffeeMan is the closer of our group, undoubtedly. When we start getting ahead and Nick just starts feeding us VSATs and feeding himself more and more kills and high-level kill streaks, he just closes the game and just completely wrecks. And we've locked up many a game that started out fairly close that way, that it starts off close, but then Nick is able to just come in and take over with those high kill streaks. So especially when you can afford to field a larger team, as he picks up the Brutal there and very nicely turns on that guy to pick him up with the B-23. Such a versatile secondary, too versatile in my opinion, but you can see that Nick is really bringing it home for his team here, even though he hasn't really done a whole lot. He hasn't really had to. You see, he's actually down a flag right now, but he wants to see if he can hang in there for this nuclear, so let's see what's going to happen. He's pushing a side that's very easy for the enemy to attack. He sees him coming on the VSAT. He's able to pick up one guy, but now he's got three guys coming through the smoke. He's going to pull back. Now he has a decision here. Game time is running out. He picks up those guys really, really nice. Is he going to call in his VTOL, or is he going to use the rest of this VSAT time to try to go for his nuclear? Now, Nick, being the guy he is just going to call in this VTOL because he really wants to pick up as many kills as possible. Now, I'm actually not going to fast forward through this VTOL because there's something very interesting at the end of it. Just because keep in mind as he's looking around with his VTOL that he keeps looking over towards that corner where his little green indicator. See right there, he's checking over there to make sure that no one's going to come over to spoil his nuclear. And see those guys coming over? See that guy right there? He's going to get him. He's going to get him. Oh, and he manages to pick him up just before that guy was about to see Nick and kill him. So really good awareness there, and that's what I wanted to show you by keeping that VTOL going there. So now there's about a minute left for Nick to work with. Is he going to be able to convert this to the VSAT? Let's pause right there. You see that on the minimap right there? And let me actually bring it up real quick. You'll see that he's over at C, and look at that all the way over to the left, and look which way Nick is pointing. This is going to spell disaster for his bid for the nuclear. Let's see if he notices him. Nope, he turns, he does recognize the threat, but too late, and that is actually going to cancel out Nick's chances for the nuclear there. Still, it's going to end up being a very, very nice 70-plus gameplay, and a really good example of showing how Nick just closes out these games, which is why I give him the honorific of the closer, Mr. ToffeeMan here. So really interesting to see how this play works, and everybody needs someone who is going to go for those high streaks, who isn't afraid to put on, a VTOL, a VSAT, because if you get just one cycle of those kill streaks, you can really just take control of the game. So it can be a bit more of a risk sometimes when you're going against upper level players, as Nick kind of flubs that EMP a little bit there. But at the same time, if you're playing a average to especially below average group, just sealing up the game that much faster is definitely something that Nick can accomplish here. So he is going to be wrapping things up here. I would like to say that I do enjoy playing with Nick so much. He is such a fantastic guy to have on your team, and thank him very much for providing this gameplay for me to use. Thank you guys so much, and I will be coming to you guys next week with more Tactical Tuesday.